Hi, thank you for joining me.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Uh, First of all, how have you been in the last 12 months of lockdown after lockdown after lockdown?
You know what? It hasn't really been too different for me. I feel like I've kind of been one of the fortunate ones that life hasn't really changed that much for me. The only thing that's really changed is like not being able to go out to dinner or see my friends in bigger groups.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, in terms of the last 12 months, I was training to be a teacher last year when COVID hit, and so I didn't actually finish up my last term of training because I was a trainee. We weren't considered essential, and so we weren't actually going um, into the school. So I didn't work from March all the way through to September. So that was just like a 6 month holiday for me, basically. Like I literally, it was such good weather. I was just in the garden, like it was so nice. And then obviously I started teaching from September. Um, and then September to Christmas was fine. Like we didn't really, um, nothing was really like all the kids were in school. Like there was obviously like mask wearing and extra sanitizing, and there was some changes to our curriculum based on the sports that we could play. Um, but yeah, nothing really changed dramatically until probably like November time when we went into that next lockdown, and we I think we did remote learning for like a week, like the last week or so of term. Um, and then yeah, like the first term of the this term, spring term, I guess as it was, like we did the first half and a bit, first 9 weeks or so was online, and now the kids are back. So yeah, nothing really has changed, and especially like playing basketball as well. That has been, well, a godsend really. It's kind of kept me busy, kept me active. So yeah, it's been, I honestly I can't complain about the last 12 months.
How did you find the online learning side of teaching then? How did you find that?
It was like, it was weird to start with, and you really kind of got a feel for the kids because like they're going backwards and forwards between online to face to like it's very much like hybrid learning, isn't it? And so yeah, it was very weird to start with, but then you quickly kind of get used to it. It's being a PE teacher over Zoom is not the most ideal of subjects. But yeah, no, it was fine. Like we kind of went in. My department's quite small, so we kind of were on a rota where there was two in each day, teaching all the lessons for that day. Um, and yeah, it was fine. Like it's not the same, especially being PE. Like we very much thrive in being outside and running around and stuff. And so doing things online, it was very strange to start with, but yeah, just when you kind of get used to it, and it's like, oh, schools are back, and then you kind of get used to, oh my gosh, like I've got 30 people in front of me like that want me to tell them what to do. It's so strange. But no, it was fine. Like it's just it's a weird year to go into teaching, that's for sure.
My PE lessons for my class just kind of was really Joe Wicks is on at 9 o'clock. You could
Yeah,
watch that and join
literally.
in.
Yeah, honestly, like sometimes that was some of the stuff that we like put out there. Like we did a bunch of like our own videos, like of different, whether it was like hit workouts or sport related ones or whatever, and then we like gave a list because sometimes like they don't want to do our ones, you know what I mean, like they would rather do someone else's. So we, yeah, Joe Wicks was definitely one of the ones that we pushed.
So let's start from the very beginning. Where were you born? Where are you from?
I'm from Essex, born and bred, barely left the place. Yeah, I've literally been here my whole life. I started playing for Brentwood Fire when I was about 12 or 13. I feel like I was like quite a late bloomer in the grand scheme of things. Like most people that, especially like my cohort of people, I feel like they grew up with a ball in their hand. Um, but I played netball. That was my first love, first sport. I've got two sisters, and they both played netball, and so basketball wasn't really a thing for me until I went to like secondary school kind of thing. So yeah.
So what made you kind of go for basketball instead of netball?
I'm not sure, you know. I feel like netball, I was playing a lot, um, but I would always go to like county trials and stuff like that, and I would always get told that I was like too skinny to ever make it. And so I was kind of like, well, it kind of turned into more of like a recreational, like I just loved playing it. And then when I joined secondary school, one of my friends, her brother played basketball, and they were like, oh, like they're having like an open session for like our age, like just come with me and like see how you feel. And I just loved it. Like it was like netball, but it was just different, and they're very similar. Like the skills are very transferable, and so I kind of had a bit of a knack for it because I had played a team sport and whatnot. And then I played them both for probably 3 years, I think, maybe 2-3 years. And then it was getting to the point where I moved to Sevenoaks when I must have been like 14 or 15, I think. And then when I was playing for them, I went for I was playing under 16s, but then we were also playing Div 2 at the time. So then I was sometimes at the weekends, I was playing like two games or so. And it just got too much to travel to Sevenoaks during the week, play netball, and then have netball and basketball at the weekends. And it was kind of like down to just, yeah, which one did I think that I could maybe do something with, or what one I've had a good run with netball. Like it was when I came home from college, every summer, like I'd play summer league, which was just kind of like pick a mix, because it's never been serious netball, and so it's always one that I can just pick up and whatnot. But yeah, like I've been playing solely basketball, I guess, since I was probably 15.
Right. So you kind of started playing basketball when you were 12, 13. Like, was there a specific individual that kind of inspired you to play? Or was it just that you loved the session so much? And
Yeah, I think like another thing is like because I didn't grow up around basketball, I didn't have like, sport was just something to me that I enjoyed doing. It wasn't something that I necessarily saw like a career in, or I didn't have like idols in basketball or whatever. Like I didn't grow up watching it. It was just like a part of my life, but it wasn't like my life. Do you know what I mean? And so yeah, no one really inspired me in that sense. I had a teacher at school that played basketball, and she kind of gave me a lot of confidence. But yeah, in terms of like a basketball role model, none of my family play it, none of my friends play it. Like I'm literally the only one around here that played it, so I didn't really have anything to go off of, really.
so talk us through kind of the stages of your basketball journey. And so 12, 13, was it Brentwood? Is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
started at Brentwood. Talk us through kind of where you went and who you played for as your career kind of developed from there.
So I started there, and I played there for a few years, but then at the time they didn't have an under 16 team. So for me, it was a choice between going to a team that was kind of local or going to Sevenoaks. And I get confused in the order that it all happened, but I was playing for Essex, like the county, and we went to a tournament, and then people from that tournament got picked to go to like area performance centres that were like around the country just for like extra training. I think it was only like once a month or so, and my one was in Sevenoaks with Len, and that was how I met him. And so when I was playing for Brentwood and like knowing that they didn't have an under 16 team, like I needed to go somewhere. And so yeah, it kind of one thing led to another, and I ended up at Sevenoaks. So then I was there under 16 and under 18, and when I was under 18 I played for England, and then that was the summer before I left for America. But that was another thing, like that was something that was never really on my radar. Like a lot of people in my class kind of grew up and that was the goal, like I want to go and play in America, but that was completely foreign to me, because it was not, when I went, there wasn't many, it wasn't very common like it is now. Like it's almost like every other person is going to America now, whether whatever kind of school it is. But at the time, like that, yeah, literally wasn't even on my radar at all. I planned on going to Loughborough, and I had a place there. And then when I was playing for England, it was under Len, he was the coach, and he put in touch these coaches with me from Southern Utah. And it was such a quick process. I think it was like from my first Skype call with them, I think it must have not even been a month and I'd signed. Like I didn't go out there, I didn't meet the players, I hadn't spoken to anyone. I'd literally had maybe like 3 or 4 calls with these coaches, seen some pictures online and thought, yeah, okay, fine. Which, like, looking back, I just don't know how, like, I just had that kind of confidence. Like I'd look back at my 18-year-old self like, what were you doing? Like literally just signed on the dotted line without even going to the place. Like, and I was just like, okay, I'll defer my place at Loughborough. I'll go, and if I don't like it, like at least I can say that I tried, kind of thing. And yeah, I ended up staying there the whole time, all 4 years. And I'm just so glad that I went there. It was literally the best but hardest 4 years of my life. Like it was so good. It was so good for like character building, and kind of setting me up for life after college. And then when I was there, we won conference my sophomore year, which was really good. That was a really fun year. And then my coaches left, and then we got new coaches in. We had more of a losing record my junior and senior year, but you know, they kind of say like you learn more in your losing seasons than your winning seasons, and so that was like a big year for kind of like more a leadership role, I guess. Sorry. And then when I came back, I graduated in 2016, and then I came back and I was like, I still want to play, but I don't really want to play like high level. Like I just kind of want to just kind of keep my hand in it, but not anything serious. And then, oh my God, I literally feel I'm going to choke. Yeah, so I came back and I just played local league for a year, which was fun, but I quickly realised that I missed the competitive edge. And yeah, so then I'd stayed in contact with Len over the years, like when I was in America and whatnot. And I went back there. So I played there for I think it was the 17-18 season. And then that was a good year for us. That was very successful. Won the league, won the playoff finals. I'm not sure about, I don't feel like we won the couple. I can't remember about those, but it was a good year for us. And then I just kind of like felt like I needed a break. Like it was quite intense. And I was working, or I'd got a job at a private school, and private school hours just don't work with playing WBBL basketball. Like they're longer days and they work Saturdays, and so it was just never going to work. And so I just kind of had to hang my boots up for a couple of years, and it's paid off really. I feel like I've done it in quite a good way. Like I've kind of got my career on track and ready to go, and now I'm back playing again. So yeah, I feel like I come full circle a little bit, but yeah, I'm glad to be back.
So how did the move to Essex then come about? Did you know Tom before moving to Essex?
No, didn't know. I didn't know of them. I knew of them ish because I'm not sure if it was like because they played Division 1, I think, and they won Division 1, and then they came into I think this is only their third season. But I had spoken to Kat Sadler. She approached me in the 18-19, I think like it was like May time, and I was just finishing up at this school, knowing that I was going to be doing my training in September, and she kind of spoke to me about the team and like the potential of going there and whatnot, and I just kind of I missed it. Like from the minute I stopped playing, it was something that it was just felt like a hole in my heart, you know. And like I still kept up with the league. I still followed all the pages that were talking about it. I'm still kept in contact with my friends and whatnot. But that time when I was speaking to Kat, it just wasn't the right time because I was going to start my training, and I just heard from everyone like, you're going to be so busy, you're going to have all this paperwork, like you're not going to be able to do anything. And so the thought of that and knowing what it was like to play in the WBBL in terms of like the schedule and the practices and blah blah blah, I just didn't feel like I could commit, you know. And then just before Christmas, it must have been like November, end of November time, I got a message from Tom saying like we're looking for another guard, we think you'd be a good fit, like just kind of come down, see what you think, or if you'd be interested, blah blah blah. And so I had a call with him, and he kind of ran through some things like the kind of role that I would play, the pieces that he already had, the vision that he was looking to build, etc etc. And then I went down the following week and did like a workout with I think there was only like there must have been 6 of us. I think it was me, Liv, Dre, Carla, Elsa and Lou, I think it was. And yeah, we just kind of did some like group work and whatnot, and then I felt like that was it. Like as soon as I had a basketball back in my hand, I was just like, I knew that was the right place. Like it had to be right for me, you know, especially because it is a big commitment playing in this league, and so I wouldn't have gone somewhere where I didn't feel like this is the place for me. And yeah, it's worked out nicely. So then after that, I think after Christmas was when I met the rest of the team. But yeah, we were fully back together by the beginning of Jan, and then yeah, that's where it's now we're here.
The rest is history, as they say.
The rest is history, yeah.
So I mean, what would you kind of what's your thoughts on Essex's season so far? I mean, yeah, that big win against Leicester fairly recently at the start of March. But what do you think of it as a whole?
We've been very up and down. We're not really a team that like just kind of cruises, you know. We're either like up there beating Leicester or we're crumbling. Do you know what I mean? Like there's not much consistency in that sense, but I'm really enjoying it. Like I think the group of girls that we have and the coaching staff, like we work so well together, and there's no egos, and it's just like everyone wants the best for each other, and it's just such a good environment, and we know what we're capable of. And I think that's the most frustrating part that's come from the losses that we've had recently, is like we know that we can beat teams, and the fact that when we beat Leicester, like that was huge for us. That was something that no one saw coming, that like we'd put in so much work, and so that's almost like the benchmark for us. And so anything less than that is really frustrating, because we feel like in our losses we've almost beat ourselves, which is it's so frustrating. But we're still kicking, like we're still putting in the work, and it's not going to be like this forever. You know, like the turn is going to come eventually. But no, overall, like I'm very happy that I'm here.
So who do you think's the toughest kind of team that you've faced this year?
In a win or a loss, or it doesn't matter?
Either, I'll let you pick.
Oh gosh, I don't know, you know, like I said when I was talking to Bradley from Hoops Fix, this is, especially this year, any team can beat anyone. And I think that is what the beauty of this league is at the moment, is that it's strong. Like, with the teams have a lot of weapons. I don't think there's one team in this league where it's like this one person is the one that you need to stop. You know, like most teams have a lot of threats. Gosh, toughest competition. Well, it could be anyone on any day. It could be anyone. Like that Leicester game was a hard fought one. Oakland's, when we played them at home, like that was tough. Sevenoaks or anyone. Like, honestly, I don't feel like I could put my finger on one team that is like up there necessarily. Like, everyone competes every weekend. But that's what makes the league so great. So
yeah, as you say, I think anyone can kind of challenge anyone on the day, and I think Newcastle have pushed a couple of teams close and then lost against Cardiff, say, and then Cardiff's pushed. Right. I think it's just, as you say, the league's very strong this season, which is brilliant to see as a fan.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and it's doing great things for the women's game. I think the fact that all the clubs are streaming, and so people still have access to it, but it's definitely pushing the game in the right direction, I think.
Has it been harder to gel as a squad this year because of the restrictions, the coronavirus restrictions and things?
I wouldn't say so. I think the only thing that's different is that we can't really socialise outside of basketball. But at the moment, like, that's all we're doing is playing basketball. Like, a lot of them live together, and so they're with each other all the time. But we've got such a small group that it would be hard not to gel, because there's not many of us. There's like 10 of us in total. And I don't think COVID has made a difference to whether we would have gelled or not. Like, we're a small group and the personalities work. Like, we're all very different, but it just kind of fits in like a jigsaw.
Let's talk about your teammates a little bit more. I've got some questions for you on your honest opinions. In the squad, who would you say was the best shooter?
Oh gosh.
You can say yourself if you want.
I don't know. I feel like it could be any of us, to be fair. Like, any of the guards, I would say I would trust them to put up a shot. Like, I feel what's annoying is that we haven't at the moment got to the point where we're all hitting on the same game. Like, it will normally be one or two that go off, kind of thing. So I feel like I'd put myself in that category. I'd put Dre, Carla, any of us really.
What about the best passer?
Lou throws some powerful passes. Sometimes they're too powerful, but no, she's, especially like since the beginning, like she's done so much better because she's drawn a lot of attention in the post. So the kickouts, and also Elsa. I think Elsa's such a good distributor. Like, she can get in to the paint and she's got a good eye for that kind of thing. So either of those two, I think.
Worst taste in music now?
You know what? We don't really spend like we don't really have music playing as such. I feel like I want to say Liv or Lou, because people are always bashing their music taste, and I think it's because, like, one time they put on like musicals when they were in the weight room, And then ever since then, in my head, I just think, oh God, like you got the like, but I'll listen to a musical, but I not in the weight room. So yeah, I guess like that would be, yeah, I guess those two.
Who's the funniest to have around the dressing room?
We have this debate more often than you would think. Because everyone thinks that they deserve like that top spot. We had a vote on one of the games the other day, and there was like 3 of them. I think it was like Angel, Yas, or Lou. But I was like, I feel like I'm pretty funny sometimes. And then like we all have our day, like Kat she's assistant coach, but she's literally one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. She's just such a clown. But yeah, I'd say Kat probably.
Okay, you've got one shot to win the game. Who are you passing the ball to? Who are you trusting with the last possession?
Is it a 2 or a 3?
Answer both.
I feel like if it was a 3, probably me. Okay. Or maybe not. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. If it was a 2, oh God, it could be anyone. It could be the post players. It could be the guards getting into, yeah, probably maybe like Lou or Angel, I'd say.
Right, I've got some quick fire questions for you now, like either or kind of things. So, like Starbucks or Costa?
Costa.
So that's different. Most people say Starbucks.
I know, I've noticed that, but I feel like like when I was in America, they don't have Costa there, and I just felt like Starbucks was just never the same. So I'm just kind of.
What's your drink of choice at Costa then? What do you go for?
I'd get one of those, like, I'm not a coffee drinker at all. So I'd normally get like a frappuccino. I don't know, they change the name of those things all the time, but like the cold, the like
the ice drink thing. That's what I go for,
yeah, or a hot chocolate. Like I wish I drank coffee. Like I think it just sounds, oh, like, do you want to go for a coffee? But I'm just not a coffee drinker.
I don't do tea and coffee. It's not an yet, I don't think.
I know, yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Okay, next one, McDonald's or KFC? Or neither. You don't have to eat fast food if you don't want to.
Oh, I love a wrap of the day. It got so bad that at one point, like, I could tell you every single day what the wrap of the day was. Like, that's how bad it was. But then I do like a boneless banquet. Oh, that's tough,
Nice.
I feel like if I was going for the place I go more, it would be McDonald's. But I do like a KFC. Yeah, that's hard.
It's a good answer that, because you get some people like, no, I don't eat fast food. I don't eat fast food. No. That's a great answer. What's your favourite Netflix series?
I don't actually watch that much because I genuinely don't have the time to sit down and watch. Or like, I can't, if something's more than like 2 series, no, I can't do it. Like, I just need like I like those short series. I like one series, 6 episodes. Like, that's a bit of me. I just finished watching Behind Her Eyes. Amazing. Watch it if you haven't. Or I am watching, what am I watching? Oh, Last Chance You, the basketball one.
Oh yes, I've started watching that one.
Yeah, so I watched the football one, and then obviously the basketball one's come out recently. So yeah, I've enjoyed that.
Right, what's your favourite Disney film? It can include Pixar.
My film knowledge is below average. Like, I could watch a film right now, and in an hour's time I wouldn't be able to tell you what happened. Like, that's how poor my knowledge is of films. Disney. Is Toy Story a Disney film?
Toy Story is Disney, yeah.
Toy Story is strong. I literally couldn't even tell you a Disney film off the top of my head.
Wow.
That's bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I know. Honestly, I have this discussion with people at work all the time. Like, they always make references from films. I'm just like, I literally got no idea what you're talking about. I could have watched the film yesterday and I still wouldn't pick up the reference. So
we'll go with Toy Story then. We'll go with Toy Story. Classic. All right, last one, and it's the most important one. Pineapple on a pizza, yes or no?
1000% yes.
Yeah, so yeah, you go.
1000%. I don't get it. I don't get people that don't like it. Like, it just adds such a like sweet little taste to the. Oh yeah, 100% Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah, I'm a recent pineapple on a pizza kind of person.
Are you? What, you at one point you weren't, and now you
are? I wasn't like against it. I just hadn't really tasted it. But no, I'm definitely a yes now.
Opened.
Yeah, so definitely.
I'm back.
Right, so as you mentioned Essex earlier, the losses that you've had recently, and you've got a tough weekend, Manchester and London coming up. How do you see those matchups?
I mean, we match up pretty well with both of them, I think. And obviously we've seen them both before. Manchester a few weeks ago, and London we only played last weekend. So I'm looking forward to it. I think I'd like to think that maybe this is the weekend that switches it for us. But it's just about what we put out on the floor, whether we can execute and stay composed and just kind of follow through with the game plan, know our scout. But yeah, hopefully it will be two pretty good games, hopefully in our favour.
I really appreciate your time, Ashleigh. Thank you very much for joining me.
Of course, not a problem. I've enjoyed it.
So hopefully catch up with you soon, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, bye.
See you later.